you're all gonna leave here now and you're gonna think, oh, I should have said this, that would just been a little capstone that would have really made their thing perfect. And so, I just was kinda wondering if that little small group meeting would have been helpful.
So it sounds like, Sandra, I know you're planning maybe a meeting in the spring as well, so then maybe we could, if we have that kind of consensus, that each of us could plan a small group meeting prior to that bigger spring meeting, perhaps then.
Yeah, and this is great feedback in terms of how to do this, because we're experimenting. And I can't emphasize enough how much we all appreciate on the team side that you all are sticking with us. That's really wonderful, and we hope that, and it sounds like, this is a valuable experience for you, but we are continuously improving our process to go forward, Scott.
Are we all gonna get a copy of everybody else's lessons at the end of this? Is that the plan?
Well, if I get a copy of everybody's lesson, yes, we can, we can
Well,
share.
no, I'd like to see his on the paragraph
Yeah.
deformation, I forget which
Well,
one.
everybody
shared in the
Or we
draft
could have it,
format while you're
or we could
thinking
have
about
like
it, or?
a,
No, I
wait
meant
till
when he's
you
done, just
something
because
where-
I would use that in some of mine in this linear line thing, I could pull part of it out. I mean, I'm not use the whole lesson, but there's ideas in them that I would like to steal.
Sure. I mean, you all have it electronically. We can post it on the Sierra Schoolworks website
yeah, that'd
in a
be great.
private place,
Right.
that's not, open to the public, that sort of thing. Somebody, James,
Yeah, I was gonna suggest somehow the involvement of the students as a measure of effectiveness. So perhaps they can be the ones to say whether or not they found that they thought critically during the exercise based on the exercise itself, and
Sure.
whether it was different, they found it to be different, or perhaps they would have an evaluation that would ask them some questions about, were you asked to analyze, were you asked to predict, were you asked to do the things on the sheet, which are the measures of critical thinking, right?
So-
The seven
Surveys.
things in this case.
So would
So-
we, Virginia and Sue, could we create a rubric? Did do that? For the students could have a rubric so that they could, have some guidelines regarding this or
Evaluating
this,
the
this.
Because
experience.
they're
Yeah.
the customer,
Yeah,
right?
they
I
are.
mean, it's
Yeah.
easy for us to sit here and go, oh yeah, that's good stuff. Look at this lesson I've created, it has all these great things. But they're the ones
and
that
use it.
really are gonna be the judge of that.
And that
And
might
then
be
how do you
something that
measure
Jennifer
it?
Franz could help us come up with.
Well,
Sure.
or anytime you ask them to reflect on their learning, which many of you talked about that you do, that you're planning on doing in your lesson, would be a good opportunity to ask them, what critical thinking skills did you use, where did you use them, is this different from your, you could write the prompt in such a way to try to get their reflection about critical thinking. Does that make sense?
Sure, I just think that the students being involved
Yeah, so
is
then you
maybe
could
something that
bring
we
that-
might wanna look at.
I agree, and I think you could bring their reflection pieces maybe to the spring big meeting and small meeting, once you've taught it, so we could all talk about, well, how did my students see this? What did they experience? So why don't we think about how to
Well, that's a
help
great
you
suggestion.
with
Well,
a prompt, and
Yeah.
maybe with Ryan's help, a good clear prompt to get at what you're talking about. What difference did this make, and what did they learn, and when did they use the skills and all of that.
So we can come up with that instrument
Yeah,
okay?
it could be open-ended. It wouldn't have to, it's anecdotal versus, quantifiable, but it's certainly good data to have.
Mhm.
How did students respond? So thanks for that.
Yeah, I think what you just said there at the end was really important, how if it was somehow quantifiable, it might have more meaning.
Well, we could think about,
Or do a survey monkey, when we did the
Sure,
student
sure,
tours, the
yeah.
kids that went on the tours did the survey
Yeah.
monkey, and that's been really helpful for our analysis
Yeah.
as well as pulling out quotes.
so
and being able
we'll
to
come up
use.
with something. Okay, we'll come up with something to help. Okay.
Katie had a,
Well, and I think Jean and I probably had a different experience maybe than everyone else because we worked as a team. But I mean, that's we have a working relationship through some other work we've done as well, but I really enjoyed that process of working with someone else and bouncing ideas off of them. And she teaches at a different level than I do, and that was really interesting to have that discussion. Bill and I have worked together on other lessons through welding, and that's also been a really good experience. So I don't know if maybe in a future iteration of this